What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. It is time to give you my updated college football top 25 rankings heading into week 7 of the 2024 college football season. Boy, another chaotic weekend and another really tough top 25 to really give you my top 25 rankings here. This was another tough top 25 just like last weekend. Now, if you go back to my week 6 rankings, I did change my top 25. If you didn't see that, comment down below. Be sure to go back and check that out. But now we're on my week 7 top 25. I don't really feel confident with this top 25, to be honest, but with all the chaos that we've had, it was really tough to rank these teams based off of what's happened in the last couple of weeks. And again, this was another tough top 25 to do, so let's go ahead and show you what my updated top 25 looks like here for week 7. And we'll start here from the bottom and work our way to the top. So we'll start here from 21 through 25. I got Missouri at number 25, Boise State at number 24, Indiana at number 23, Nebraska at 22, and then SMU comes in at number 21. So Missouri lost to Texas A&M 41-10. That was obviously a blowout. I didn't penalize them out of the top 25. I still think this is a pretty solid Missouri team, but you look at, just the game that happened. I did drop them a lot of spots. They were in my top 10 last week for me, but I did drop them a good amount because of that blowout loss to Texas A&M, but it was still against a Texas A&M team that's ranked just inside the top 20 for me, so that's a good loss on their resume, but I was really close to putting another team in here into the top 25. I know Pittsburgh is undefeated. Maybe I could have considered them, but they don't really have like a quality win, to be honest. And then Missouri just has a win over, Boston College, and then also they got the loss to Texas A&M now. So I still keep them here in the top 25, even though they lost really badly to Texas A&M 41-10. Just a really, really tough game for the Tigers. Boise State, they took care of business against Utah State. They got the close loss to Oregon, so that's the reason why you're seeing Boise State ahead of Missouri here, just because of that loss. Boise State at number 24. Indiana at number 23. They are 6-0, but they don't have like a big resume, like a top 25 win on their resume to move up into the rankings, but they're 6-0. That's the reason why they got into the top 25. They have 3 Power 4 wins, though. They got wins over Maryland, Northwestern, and UCLA. And Indiana right now is undefeated in Big Ten play. I want to see them play like a quality opponent, and they will get that this weekend against the team that is right up in front of them, and that's Nebraska. Nebraska has the close loss to Illinois. That's the reason why you're seeing Nebraska here at number 22. Indiana and Nebraska will play each other this weekend. So Nebraska at number 22, they beat their opponent this week 14-7. It wasn't a big win for Nebraska, but either way they got the close loss to Illinois. And then SMU here at number 21, they beat Louisville 34-27. That was enough for me to put them in the rankings. They got the close loss to BYU as well, so that's the reason why SMU here is in the top 25 of my rankings. So these are my rankings here from 21 through 25. Let's now go from 16 through 20. So Michigan comes in here at number 20. I don't know where to put this team, to be honest. I was really close to putting them out of the top 25 because they're a 4-2 team, but they have the loss to Texas. That's a pretty good loss for them, and then they got the win over USC. Now, I'll go ahead and say I don't have USC ranked in my top 25 because USC is 3-2. I just don't really seem like it's necessary to put a 3-2 team in here. I know they got the win over LSU, and then they got the close loss to Michigan, but USC just hasn't really performed that well in the last couple weeks. They turned the ball over against Wisconsin, and then they turned the ball over against Minnesota. So I got Michigan here at number 20. Again, a tough loss for them against Washington. If Michigan does lose their next game, they'll probably be out of my top 25 next week. But again, these top 25 rankings were just so hard to really, make. So I got Michigan here at number 20. Utah at number 19 did not play this week. They're 4-1. They have that loss to Oklahoma, or actually they had the loss from last weekend to Arizona. That loss is not looking really good for the Utes, but Utah here at number 19, and then Ole Miss, they bounced back against South Carolina 27-3. Definitely a much better performance. The defense definitely did their job. South Carolina just has struggled with the quarterback position, but I thought, that was one of those upset alert type games, but, Ole Miss does survive that one. They win 27-3, and they are now 5-1 on the season. Illinois at number 17 did not play either, and then Texas A&M beat Missouri 41-10. Texas A&M, they had the win over Arkansas. I mean, that was a great win for them. They got the win over Arkansas that, a couple weeks ago. That win is looking really, really good. Arkansas beat Tennessee. I don't have Arkansas in my rankings this week. Maybe I should have ranked them, but maybe if some other team slips up, we'll have Arkansas ranked, and if they get another win this weekend, I'll definitely put Arkansas here in my top 25. But Texas A&M, I was really impressed with their performance. This is definitely looking like one of the top contenders actually in the SEC, so watch out here for the Aggies, even though the SEC second place spot is definitely wide open. But I got the Aggies here at number 16. These are my rankings here from 16 through 20. All right, 11 through 15 now. We got Kansas State at number 15, Iowa State at number 14, BYU at number 13, Notre Dame at number 12, and then Oklahoma at number 11. So BYU, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma and Kansas State all had bye weeks, so not much to talk about these teams from the rankings. Iowa State, though, they played over the weekend. They're 5-0. They survived a close game against Baylor. Yeah, that was a close game there for the Cyclones, but this team is now in the top 15. Kansas State, they have the close loss to BYU. That Arizona game, though, is not looking really good for Kansas State, but we'll see what they look like coming out of the bye week this weekend. They beat Oklahoma State a couple weeks ago. BYU, they're still undefeated. These are the two only undefeated teams in the Big 12. BYU, though, at number 13, and then Notre Dame at number 12. They had a bye week as well. And then Oklahoma, they'll play Texas this weekend. That'll be definitely their really toughest test. We'll see what they do in that game, but they move up here into the top 15 just because of all the chaos. I mean, most of the teams right here from 11 through 15 all moved up because of those chaos over the weekend. But yeah, most of these teams here from 11 through 15, the four teams that, they had bye weeks over the weekend: Oklahoma, Notre Dame, BYU, and Kansas State. So not much to talk about here for the rankings from 11 through 15. But yeah, these are my rankings here from 11 through 15. Let's now get into the top 10. 6 through 10. So Tennessee and Alabama, I wasn't really sure where to put them at, but I got Tennessee at number 10, Alabama at number 9. Clemson at number 8, LSU at number 7, and then Miami at number 6. So Tennessee and Alabama, I did drop them outside the top 5, I should say. I think, Tennessee was probably actually ranked for me like, last week at number 7, if I'm not mistaken. So Tennessee at number 10, I could have dropped them more spots, to be honest, but Tennessee has the win over Oklahoma. I didn't want to put Tennessee behind Oklahoma because of that, so that's the reason why you're seeing Tennessee still in the top 10 here. I still think this is a really good Tennessee team. They just had a really bad game. And that really goes for a lot of other teams. Some teams, some top 10 teams, we saw a lot of them lose this weekend, and, some top 10 teams just don't really have good games over the course of time. So Tennessee and Alabama here, they're both pretty similar. They are now 4-1, but Alabama's loss to Vanderbilt, I think, is worse than Tennessee's loss to Arkansas. I mean, Alabama definitely was the more talented team. They were a big favorite in this game by a good amount, and they just did not play like a top 10 or top 5 team, and also a number 1 team as well. So I did drop Alabama out of the number 1 spot and drop them a good bit to number 9. So they are just outside the top 5. I still think this is a top 10 team, but the schedule gets really tougher for the rest of the way for Alabama. They still got to play LSU on the road, Oklahoma on the road, and then also Tennessee. I mean, I kind of want to see Tennessee and Alabama go head-to-head. We'll get that, of course, coming up, on October 19th and the third Saturday of October. So, yeah, both of these teams are probably going to be desperate for a win. So, Alabama and Tennessee both drop for me inside the top 10. Clemson at number 8. Clemson beat Florida State 29-13. It wasn't the best win for the Clemson offense, but a win's a win and everything. The defense did their job, so Clemson here at number 8, the second best team right now, in my opinion, in the ACC. And then LSU at number 7. They had a bye week, so not much to talk about LSU. And then Miami beat Cal on the road 39-38. What a close game that was. Miami coming back from behind and winning it. Cam Ward, you really trust him to make the explosive plays down the stretch, and that's exactly what he did. So Miami remains undefeated, not the only undefeated ACC team in the conference. You got Pittsburgh that's still undefeated. I could have ranked Pittsburgh here in this ranking, but I just wanted to see what it's going to look like here. Pittsburgh doesn't really have a great resume right now, so we'll see what they look like here in the next few weeks. But yeah, Miami and Pittsburgh are the only undefeated teams now in the conference. Duke just lost their first game to Georgia Tech on the road this past weekend. So Miami here at number 6. And again, these rankings were so tough really to rank. So let's now get into the top 5. So in the top 5, I got Penn State at number 5, Oregon at number 4, Georgia at number 3, Ohio State at number 2, and then Texas at number 1. So Penn State, they beat UCLA 27-11. Defense did their job. I thought the offense did pretty well in this game as well. So Drew Aller's looking pretty good. Yeah, Penn State, they could challenge, Ohio State coming up in the month of November. I'm not sure when that game is going to be, but I feel like it's in the month of November because that's usually about the time where they play. But yeah, Penn State, we'll see what they look like against a quality opponent, but they got the win over Illinois, which is a pretty good win for them. So Penn State here at number 5. Oregon, they took care of business on Friday night against Michigan State 31-10. Defense did their job. The offense is looking much, much better compared to the first 2 weeks. And this Oregon team has now looked good in the last 3 games. So Oregon here at number 4. Georgia at number 3. Look, I know Georgia lost to Alabama. Alabama should be able to be ahead of Georgia, but like I said, I had to make a change here to my rankings from last weekend in week 6. I did put Alabama ahead of Georgia in the rankings because they beat them head-to-head, but with Alabama losing and Georgia beating Auburn 31-13, these are just really tough. It was really tough to put where Alabama is. Alabama lost to a Vanderbilt team that was definitely not better than them, and they lost 40-35. So yeah, Alabama moves out of the top 5 just because of that. They lost to one of the worst teams in the SEC over the years, so that's the reason why I penalized Alabama outside the top 5. But Georgia gets a win over Auburn 31-13, a nice bounce back for them after the loss to Alabama. Georgia definitely is not really that far behind to be that number 1 spot again, but Georgia here at number 3. Ohio State took care of business against Iowa 35-7. A really good win for the Buckeyes, to be honest. It was their first real tough test against a good defense, but they definitely proved everybody that they are just not a team that is going to be able to sleep on here in the Big Ten. So Ohio State at number 2. And then Texas is my new number 1 team. I know I should have probably ranked Texas, at number 1 a long time ago, but with all the chaos between Georgia and Alabama, Alabama losing and then Georgia, of course, losing. I had to put Texas here at number 1. I know they had a bye week. I know Ohio State should be ahead, but Ohio State doesn't have any quality wins. We want to see them play like a really good opponent. Texas has the win over Michigan. That's a really good win for them. That's just a better win overall than Ohio State's win over Iowa. So Texas here at number 1. They're my new number 1 team heading into this weekend. We will see what they look like against Oklahoma. And obviously the question is, will they get Quinn Ewers back? I think they will. I think if Quinn Ewers plays, I think Texas wins big. But if Quinn Ewers does not play, I feel like Texas will only win by at least by 7 points, maybe by a field goal. So we'll see how that Red River rivalry goes down this weekend. It was just another chaotic weekend of college football, but here's my updated top 25 rankings heading into week 7. Like I said, I don't really feel confident with these top 25, but give me your top 25 down in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports YouTube channel.